I had always improvised, I always composed, but I think like I was kind of set on becoming a concert pianist, and I brought my teacher up because it was at a certain point where it was like I had a miserable piano that I was playing on. It was like a Young Chang, and this is not to talk badly about Young Changs, but the piano that we had was an early Young Chang when they didn't know that they weren't treating the wood that they were using the inside of the pianos right for our climate over here. So this piano in the summers would swell up so badly that the action was almost unplayable. And I hated to complain, it was the piano that I had to play on, but at a certain point, like my teacher was like, look, Brian, if he's going to be a concert pianist, he really needs an instrument that he can practice on. I remember going on many trips with my mom to all the well-known piano warehouses in New York, Queens, Brooklyn, to really find a great instrument. And it turned out that this piano was being rebuilt. This guy was incredible. He built harpsichords from scratch. He was a harpsichord builder, and he made crazy things out of wood. He made these amazing, he made amazing like ships, like boats. But he also rebuilt pianos. And he was friends with my teacher. My teacher was like, he has this piano. He's like, it's sold already, but I want you to go over and try it. Most of the inside was rotted out. Like mildew, mold. The piano was painted black. Painted, like not like, ebony or something. It was just like somebody took black paint and just like put it over the piano. Only about this range, almost the range of that melody I just played, worked on the piano. It was about an octave and a half or so. But you could tell just in that octave and a half that this was a special instrument. It was before it was rebuilt, obviously. And with my teacher, I was like, in a way, I said, well, why'd you, why even have me play this piano? It's sold. His intuition was probably telling him something. About 5-6 months later, the deal for that piano fell through. And the guy that bought it was buying it for his 4-year-old daughter that had never even played piano. So in a way, I didn't feel great because the guy, I think he lost his job or something. It was not a good reason in his life why he couldn't afford the piano, but at the same time, I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm meant to have this piano. So it did feel like kind of kismet in a certain kind of way. My parents just straight up, we didn't have the money to afford the piano. And then again, more crazy circumstances. We get a letter in the mail from Young Chang. There was a recall, and they were giving us a brand new Young Chang, which turned out to be amazing. Not that we're going to keep the Young Chang, but because that piano was going to be worth a lot more just because it was brand new, so we could turn around and sell it. Still didn't have the money for this Steinway, which was actually, for that time, it was a super reasonable deal. Still didn't have the money. My grandmother, who was very supportive, my Jewish grandmother, who would be was not going to be happier than anything that her grandson was going to become a concert pianist. It's better than a doctor or a lawyer, right? If you're going to be anything, be playing Rachmaninoff and Chopin. That's going to be better than having a degree in law. So my grandmother loaned my parents the money, and then I went once a week for 6 weeks. I would go once a week to see the work being done. The soundboard was completely rebuilt. The pin block was rebuilt. The action is brand new, and the action I actually love because it's a Frankenstein action. It's half Hamburg and half New York. So there's very few pianos that have that. So it's mostly a German action, but the hammers are actually New York hammers, which I kind of prefer more because I feel they're a little bit more versatile. They're a little more raw, so it serves a lot of the music that I'm playing because I can get enough of a kind of a beautiful tone and a dynamic range, but it has a little bit of more of that dirt for things that I like, or if I'm playing jazz or a lot of Zorn's music, I want a little bit more edge, so I feel like the New York hammers have that a little bit more. It's really cool to be part of the process of seeing how it was built and how they built the sound, the soundboard and all the pieces of wood that are interlocked together to build the pin block. It's such an incredibly mind-blowing instrument, the amount of mechanics. So being able to experience that was great, and then now to be able to play that piece for my grandmother